Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. And I hope y'all are continuing to stay safe during this pandemic. Now, there are some states that are already reopened, there are some that are starting to reopen, and then there are some that are under stay-at-home orders. Now, my thing is, if you're reopening, that's great and all, but I still think that we should all continue to practice social distancing, because we're not out of the woods yet, folks. Yeah, sure, the curve is flattening. Sure, it's flattening in a lot of states. Folks are starting to recover from it. The percentage of people dying from it has decreased. You know, that's all great, but we're still not out of the woods. Until there are no more cases, whether it be positive test or dying, until there are no more, whether it's here in America or anywhere throughout the world, we're still not out of the woods. And I think we should all continue to social distance ourselves. Let's just not be, I know the economy has suffered since, this global lockdown is taking place, but, and I'm all for, the economy, but you can't have, just like I said at the end of last week's episode, you can't have an economy without people. And I'm glad that certain states are reopening, but I still think that we should limit the number of times that we go out. We should all stay at home if we can. And if you can't, wear a mask. Stay 6 feet away from people. I'm not telling y'all anything y'all don't already know. But let's not be naive that as far as the cases, as far as the fact that there are still people testing positive, that there are people that are still dying, we're still not out of the woods yet. All right, I have an announcement regarding the show at the end. Don't worry, I'm not canceling. I made a promise a long time ago that I'm going to keep doing the show till I'm physically unable to, and I'm sticking to that promise. But for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Alright, on last week's episode, I asked, Stan Lee once gave himself a dare to create a hero that nobody would like, and then force people to like him. Who was it? Now on social media, I gave 3 hints. The first hint: this character is a founding Avenger in both the comics and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The second hint: this character has 3 Marvel Studios movies. The first one kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it in 2008, which was 12 years ago. And the third and final hint, and this was a really dead giveaway, one of Black Sabbath's greatest hits is also the name of this character. Well, the correct answer is Iron Man. And 17 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, the names have been entered in the drawing for a free tee, and that drawing takes place right now. So, the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Christy Parrish from West Monroe, Louisiana. So congratulations, Christy. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Superman question. What planet is the Superman villain Brainiac from? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Now, the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight is usually reserved for viewers and fans of the show to make requests. But every once in a while, I like to come up with one of my own, and this one features two of the most deadliest reptilian villains in comics. Now, I need to warn y'all, if y'all have small children, or if you're squeamish to violence, you may not want to tune in to this segment. You may want to skip over to the Comically Speaking segment. Just saying. Representing DC, we have Killer Croc. And representing Marvel, we have the Lizard. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Killer Croc versus the Lizard. Killer Croc possesses enhanced strength, speed, agility, reflexes, stamina, senses and durability, reptilian teeth, claws, and scale-like skin, and an accelerated healing factor. The Lizard is a ferocious hand-to-hand combatant who possesses superhuman strength, speed, agility, reflexes, stamina and durability, telepathic control over any and all reptiles, regenerative healing factor, hardened scaly skin, razor-sharp teeth, 6-foot-long prehensile tail, and the ability to bring out nearby creatures' primitive reptilian instincts. Who will win? The terms no holds barred and not for the faint of heart combined are enough hype to describe this fight. The two in terms of combat and resilience are evenly matched. The Lizard has a slight upper hand with the telepathic and instinctual control. The two will claw and bite at each other for minutes on end until Lizard decides to use his telepathic control on Killer Croc. The latter is left in a catatonic state. The Lizard begins wrapping his tail around Killer Croc and throwing him around like a rag dog. This fight soon takes a drastic turn and end. The Lizard drags Killer Croc up every flight of stairs of the Empire State Building all the way to the roof. Just as the Lizard is about to throw Killer Croc to his death, the latter suddenly snaps out of it, grabs the Lizard's tail and yanks him towards him, abruptly claws into his chest, and rips out his heart and spleen. How did he snap out of it? Killer Croc is only half reptilian. It was only a matter of time before his human sight regained control. That, and never mess with a Batman villain. Killer Croc wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed that fight, and I'll have another one for next week. Now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there are two things we're going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking. The first one is some great news for comic book nerds out there, including me. Now, I reported a few weeks ago that DC is going to have some new books that are shipping to comic book stores through two new distributors. Well, that time has finally come. This week, they're coming to comic book stores everywhere, and unfortunately, there are only going to be 6 or 7 new books. But 3 of them, fortunately, are books that I read, and they'll be featured on next week's episode of the show. And also, and I just want to go ahead and just throw this out there, but keep it local, folks. I mean, this has been a very hard time for not just, I mean, it's been a hard time for comic book readers like me. I mean, I've been having to order books online, but it's even been harder for the store owners. And not just the owners of comic book stores, but the owner of all local establishments throughout the country and throughout the world. I want to go ahead and say this. Yesterday, I was driving through downtown Minden, and with utter horror, I saw that one of my friends who had a vinyl shop in called Mama's Little Corner had closed its doors. I mean, the store was empty. So this pandemic has not, I mean, this pandemic is very serious. I mean, these stay-at-home orders are great, but at the same time, they have really hurt a lot of local establishments. I mean, there's some establishments that will either mail your whatever you order. They do curbside pickup. I mean, go out and support your local establishments, folks, because it's really hurt them. And you know, I just want to tell my friend Danae, who owned Mama's Little Corner in Minden, my thoughts and prayers are with you, and I hope you can you'll be able to reopen the store again. if there's anything I can do, please let me know. All right, and the second thing, and this is on a much lighter note. I hate to set that, but at the same time, you know, we need to support our local establishments, whether they're stores, restaurants, or what have you. But here's the second thing. Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins. Oh, and also she's directed the upcoming Wonder Woman 1984. Has teased a third Wonder Woman movie and also a few Amazon spin-off movies. This is great. I mean, we all saw what she did with Wonder Woman. I mean, words can't describe how great that movie was. I mean, yeah, it came out 3 years ago, and then there's a new movie coming out in August. But to tease some new movies, some spin-off movies for Wonder Woman, wow, I mean, I really can't stand the wait. Now, I'll say this, just like my friend Keith Adams, who's also a fan of the show from West Monroe, Louisiana, said he believes that Patty Jenkins should be over the DC Cinematic Universe. And I wholeheartedly agree. And not just her, but also Aquaman director James Wan and Shazam director David Sandberg. I mean, all these three movies were amazing. And I mean, I haven't seen DC movies this great in 25 years. And I honestly believe that they really need to be the brains trust of the DC Cinematic Universe. I mean, now I don't mean to. Now this is I'm by no no disrespect to Zack Snyder. He has directed some great movies, but Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, and Justice League, I mean, really lacked a lot of luster. And I think that, yeah, but Jenkins, Sandberg, and Wan have all, you know, I mean, their movies, I mean, that they set the standard for what comic book movies should be. And I think we, now, I don't know I don't know what Matt Reeves is going to do with the Batman. I don't know what his plans are. There's still some folks that are screaming bloody murder over Robert Pattinson being casted to play the lead role. But let's just wait and see. I mean, we said the same thing about Heath Ledger when he was casted to play the Joker in The Dark Knight, and he delivered. I mean, God rest that man's soul, but he delivered. And we just need to wait and see. Really looking forward to Jenkins, what the plan she has for Wonder Woman. Really looking forward to Wonder Woman 1984 when it comes out this summer. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to this third Wonder Woman movie and these Amazon spin-off movies. I think if she delivered then, she's definitely going to deliver again. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Metal Men number 2. Metal Men number 3. Metal Men number 4. Metal Men number 5. And also some oldies and goodies. Excalibur number 92. First volume. Ghost Rider number 10. Thor number 459. And finally, Wolverine number 102. Alright, that's 8, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 9,968. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. What planet is the Superman villain Brainiac from? Everyone who answers correctly will be in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Christy Parrish from West Monroe, Louisiana, won a free tee on this week's episode. All right, I'm now 32 away from 10,000 comics, and hopefully by the end of the month, I'll reach that milestone. And you're probably wondering, why do I want to hit it before the month is out? Well, that brings me to the announcement that I told y'all earlier in the show that I was going to make at the end. All right, remember last year when I did the segment, the summer-long thing called the Summer of Superheroes? Well, I'm doing it again this summer. And there are going to be a few things I'm going to do a little differently. First off, I'm only going to do one episode per week. And remember last year I did 2 episodes because I went overboard and made too many superhero themed comic hero tees. Well, I'm not doing that. Instead, I'm only going to do 1 episode per week, and that's a total of 13 shirts. So I'm going to feature 13 shirts, and also it's kind of taken on a new meaning for me. I want to do, something told me to do something very nice for all the healthcare workers, all the doctors, the nurses, and the first responders. They have been nothing but amazing and wonderful during this COVID-19 pandemic. They have treated so many people that have tested positive for it, and a lot more have recovered than there have that have passed on. And I believe that we need to give credit where credit is due. These folks are amazing, and so the Summer of Superheroes is going to go like this. Now, I'm going to allow you, the viewers, to submit your I just want y'all to tell me, like, any nurse or any doctor or any first responder that you know that has done nothing but an amazing job. It doesn't matter whether it's here in Louisiana, here in America, or overseas. If you know someone who has been any healthcare worker who's been nothing less than amazing, then please let me know who they are, and I'll acknowledge them on the show. And if I acknowledge them on the show, they will get their very own comic hero tee, just like the one I wear on that episode. Now, let's say, for example, if I wear a Wolverine comic hero tee, then that healthcare worker will get a comic hero tee, a Wolverine comic hero tee as well. Something just told me to just go ahead and do that. So with that being said, go ahead and let me know who they are right away, because we're only a few days into the month of May, but June will still be here before you know it. And I just want to go ahead and applaud all the healthcare workers throughout the world. Y'all have been amazing. And it's because of you that we have more people that have recovered from COVID-19 than there have passed on. And also, thank you for all the people that have even passed on for COVID-19, because y'all did everything y'all could for them. Even though they're no longer with us, y'all did everything you could, and that's commendable as well. All right, I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 310. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.